The council meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Present, Council President Michon, Council Member Charbonneau, Council Member Curtis, Council Member Alfred Chase, Treasurer City Clerk Mr. Johnson. In the room, Department Head Mr. Bernier, Zoning Administrator online. I thought that Mike Brown is online. Oh, okay, thank you. The fire department chief is here, and here we go. So, Kevin, you need to sign the sewer one again, right? And then we should be good to go. Okay, the council meeting's already called to order. Okay. Next item on the agenda is additions and deletions. First, I need to add the state of Vermont ethics as to number 4. The state of Vermont has, based on the new law, said that we must have an employee who is a liaison to the ethics committee for the state of Vermont. And if we don't, then they will gladly appoint somebody, so we're just going to add that to as number 4 after the consent agenda, please. Okay. Any additions, Council President?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Charbonneau?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Curtis?
No, thanks.
Councilmember Alfred Chase?
No, thank you.
Treasurer Johnson?
No.
Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. We have the regular meeting minutes of December 16, 2024. Accounts payable warrants for December 19, 2024 and December 20, 2024. We have the payroll warrants for December 26, 2024 and liquor licenses, vendor permits, and special events permits as well. Then we have any additions on licenses?
No.
We're all good. Everybody?
Go ahead with that and sign it.
Right. Okay. So any comments on the consent agenda? If not, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, all those in favor please say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Ayes have it and the motion is carried. This is for the treasurer, please, thank you. Okay, number 4 is the, let me just find that, please. Is the state of Vermont ethics liaison. And so, as I said, the state of Vermont sent a reminder that from January 1, we're supposed to choose a liaison who is an employee of the city to be the liaison for the Ethics Commission. If we do not, as I said, they will gladly appoint somebody if we don't have an employee that we believe has the time and we should do that. So, discussion here on suggestions or what you'd like to do?
What is required of the individual?
So, Each municipal, I'm gonna read you what, it was a section of the new law that came down, so it says, each municipality acting through its legislative body shall designate an employee as its liaison to the State Ethics Commission. If a municipality does not have any employees, the legislative body shall designate one of its members as its liaison to the State Ethics Commission. So we can choose somebody from one of our members as well. The requirement went into effect on January 1, 2025. And so most probably they would have to stay on top of the ethics rules and changes and probably attend any meetings or if there's anything going on, or at least have, be able to have somebody reach out to them. And so my suggestion is, of course, that one of the members would most probably be best suited to do that here, or because I don't know if an employee would have the time. I mean, though we can. I mean, it's just a matter of choice, and of course you can always change it as you so deem fit.
Should we have the department heads just quickly survey the members, see if there's any
Sure.
interest? Report back next meeting. If they don't have anybody, then one of us will have to do it.
Sure. So, will you, department heads, reach out, and we'll touch base tomorrow and reiterate it. Touch base and see if any of the department heads are interested in doing this, and if not, then can we at least, are you interested in doing it? Are you interested in doing it? Are you interested in doing it?
I'm winding down, sorry.
So how's your last 2 weeks? You interested in
If
doing
no one
it?
else, if there's not a department head person who steps forward.
So can we at least say that, to get it done, that we will have the department heads research this, come back to us, and if not, then we can appoint council member officials. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
A motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. I'm actually going to give you this so that in case the department heads don't want to do it, you can go on here and see how involved you are. The next item on the, and thank you for that, on the agenda is the telephone and internet contracts with a potential vote. I'm going to recognize Dennis Boulogne, our infamous IT guru, and he has been working diligently to come up with better contracts for the city with great savings. So it's all yours.
I'm guessing you want me to speak in the links.
I totally do.
So, do you guys have this in your packets, this spreadsheet that I provided? That's the easiest way to look at this. So, this was a contract that was put into place 10 years ago with our city manager at the time was Laura Bergen. And it was a 3-year contract that was put in place. So, it should have been renegotiated 7 years ago. It never was renegotiated. I think it was because it fell between the cracks. And we at the city of Newport recently were talking about different systems that we're going to be bringing online that were going to be cloud-based. And we don't have the internet, currently do not have the internet bandwidth at most of the sites to run these cloud-based systems. So that started me thinking to look into the contract. So I worked with Stacy downstairs to pull up all the bills, and then I met with Linda to tell her that someone needs to look into this ASAP because the system's coming online and our contracts haven't been renegotiated, and it was costing the city a lot of money for both internet services at 10 sites for the city, and phone services, which is business voice edge, for 10 sites. And I got into the contract looking at the services that were being paid for and found a lot of errors that the city has been paying for those 7 years. Due to other employees that were ordering services that weren't the city manager and not being told to the city. So we got a lot of stuff deleted. We upgraded our internet speeds at all the sites, tripling our speeds at all the sites, so that, and we lowered the speed at Prouty Beach because they were paying for 2 lines of service, and they had more bandwidth at Prouty Beach than you had for the whole city. So I was like, I just don't understand this, but I'm asking you as Comcast to completely redo that portion of the site because it was all messed up. I talked to Mike Brown and for the director, and he was like, I was unaware of this, and I said, yeah, I was unaware of it too. But a prior director ordered up services because he felt the speed wasn't fast enough, I guess, for the campers, and the city was paying a lot of money for that, as you can see on that spreadsheet. Now it's been negotiated down. The speed is still going to be as high as it should be, but it's not going to cost you probably half as much if you look at that sheet. So you're saving overall over a year now $14,000 a year. So it's a big chunk of money. Mm-hmm. And if you think about it, it hasn't been $14,000 a year that you've been saving for the last 7 years. You know, if you think about, but the technology has changed. So 7 years ago, if we were renegotiated this, I worked with Comcast to get a kind of a figure of what you would have saved over that 7-year period if that would have been renegotiated. And they said that you would have saved about $8,000 a year for $8,000 a year for 7 years. So that's a big chunk of money that the city could have recuperated, you know. So now I've already put in the contracts that this is only a 2-year contract, and there's 3 people listed on the contract. So it's Linda Sullivan as mayor who has to sign off on them, and then Stacy downstairs, who's paying the bills, is the billing agent, and myself as IT. So one of those 3 people in 2 years will now be notified or contacted. Someone will be contacted to renegotiate every 2 years. And we may have to add bandwidth. With the phone situation may change. One of the things we are doing in this contract, some of the phones in this building, there's like 16 or 17 of them, and some of them are pretty antiquated. They need to be changed. Some of them, the receivers or the ringers don't work on them. So I got them to, in this contract, renegotiate removing the hardware and upgrading some of the hardware. So, and we're still saving $14,000 a year. So,
Great job.
Something that's not in the spreadsheet that I was made aware of is there is going to be a $69 hardware charge per site, or for 5 of the 10 sites, because some of the hardware for the internet lines is really antiquated, and they said we can't give you that free. So it's a one-time charge. So it's going to be buried into these monthly fees. They said you won't even see it. So hopefully we're improving and improving the costs and saving the city some money. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
So can I have a motion to approve the contract and have the mayor sign the contract as presented?
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, comments? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Show me where to sign.
Yeah, can I
Or-
meet with you tomorrow?
Absolutely, except I will be in
I'll be
Barry.
here sometime after 9. Okay.
In the morning, I could be,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, sure. All right, so I'm going to give this then to the treasurer to hold.
Also, in theory,
Thank you, sir. Good job. Okay, the next item on the agenda is playground structures material request. It's listed as a potential vote, but before we do that, I'm going to recognize, have a little discussion and then recognize Mr. Bernier and possibly Mr. Brown and Mr. Cheney. So it is my understanding that, I spoke with Mr. Brown this morning and he found out about this, and then Mr. Bernier met with me a couple of days ago and with Mr. Cheney a couple of days ago. So my question right now is if Mr. Bernier, if you would kind of step up and explain it, and then we can find out if we have any issues or don't have any issues, and we can take it from there. Thank you. And I've got it here for them to see as you requested.
Oh, okay, so have they
They
seen
have.
my memo? You have, okay. So,
I just respected your last paragraph.
what's that?
I just respected your last paragraph.
Oh, appreciate that, thank you. So did you show them the one
They-
picture of the
they've
one?
got it.
Okay,
Here.
so it was just, as I wrote in my memo, this has been long overdue at the park. Some of these ideas came up to me and I thought they would be great addition to the playground. And as I wrote in there, I want to kind of keep them a little hush-hush. So once we erect the playground itself that we've already purchased, we would bring them in. And they're also going to be movable. So Mike and I talked a little bit today that, you know, possibly, you know, we could shuffle them around a little bit. Probably Beach could, you know, put a couple there for a while, bring them back down to the park, and just have this as a start of a theme down there that, you know, maybe every year, once until we fill it up, we could build another little structure.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
move them around.
Thank you. But you want these back,
Yes, please.
so.
As I wrote in my memo, I wanted to keep it
Yeah, that's why I kept it up here.
quiet, just, it'll be kind of a, if the council approves, it'd be kind of a surprise to the public when that playground opens up. We're always looking for projects in the winter, if things are slow and we're not getting snow, things aren't froze up and broken, you know, trying to keep the guys going. We've already built the first one, as you saw in the picture. I think it's gonna be a hit. I'm just hoping you all agree with the rest of it. I've also worked with VLCT to make sure that they meet, you know, insurance carriers' requirements for any of these structures, so.
Okay. So, any questions here, or should we hear first from the rec director and then the zoning administrator, and then we can. So, thank you, but don't go away. Mike Brown? Do you have anything you'd like to say or add to this?
No, I just think that the structure will be a great addition to the playground. I think there'd be a great surprise once we do the ribbon cutting. I mean, the public wasn't expecting this. I think they deserve something big, and they've been waiting a long time, and I think it's just a great addition.
Thank you. Zoning administrator, hiding behind the door.
You have a question?
Yeah, I do. Do we see any issues? I know you were reaching out to the state to make sure that we were able to be in compliance and everything was okay. Do we have any feedback on that?
No. She's off until Wednesday.
Okay, any other input on this?
So I submitted the playground developmental review board application and specifications a month ago. This was not part of it. I suspect strongly that she will want to comment on these, which won't be an issue, I don't believe, other than we were hoping to set, when I talked to the floodplain manager a week and a half ago, I was supposed to get comments this beginning of this week. That way I could go to the DRB by the 3rd week in January. If I have to resubmit a site plan, which I'm hoping I won't, but I suspect I may, then, I don't know, it's been about a month or so since she's gotten the plans and I haven't heard anything from her. The other option would be to go through with the present plan and then go through the DRB again and the floodplain manager again before you can. I would suspect strongly that she'd be far more concerned with these structures than the playground equipment, and I had to submit on the playground equipment, so can't imagine that. As far as them being movable, I suspect she's going to want them hooked down pretty good so they don't float away.
So, my understanding, and I'm not capable of hooking anything down, is that when you put them there, they will be hooked down, and then you know how to remove them and move them elsewhere and hook them down. So we're not talking about, well, I try not to give it away, with a Toys R Us structure. Okay, I just wanted to be absolutely sure. So here's a question I have. Do you think that if council decides they would like to move forward tonight, that they could vote this pending any issues coming back?
So the only issue that I can see is we are actually on Monday of last week, we were supposed to get the grant award letter to be able to build $100,000 for the playground equipment. That's contingent upon giving them a date before the end of January for the DRB hearing. They're not requiring us to have that permit in hand before they grant the ability to bill the invoices. Theoretically, the only drawback's going to be is that the project will be held up for another month probably, and you will not be able to bill for what you've spent, the $100,000. Is that really a problem? I don't do your books.
Spend it wherever you tell me to spend it.
So any questions?
Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
I actually also think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I know, it is great.
And it probably would have been relatively easy to include it with the initial submission. I do not think this is going to be a problem. And I don't see that an extra month is necessarily going to hurt anything from my end, unless you have some issue with it.
Thank you. Any questions?
I'd rather go through it just once, in other words. Yeah.
How much money are we asking for? I don't have an estimate as we speak. As everybody knows, as I wrote in there, building supplies are extremely expensive. Probably gonna decide on one of the larger 2 structures there and get an estimate, and again, as I wrote in my memo, if you would go up to that amount, that'd be great. If not, I'm open for suggestions. Like I said, that the little structure that we already built, we got $2,500 into that already. It doesn't take much.
Where's the money coming
Where's the the source of the money, the 20 grand?
So I was, again, hoping, it's kind of a little bit out of the scope. Originally, the remediation for the playground was estimated at $315,000. We knew for us doing it, preparing for that, last summer, myself and 5 other employees took a 40-hour hazmat class so we could actually remediate the playground and save the city a lot of money. Currently, as I wrote in there, we're at just under 140,000. That's gonna be pretty close to what the total cost is gonna be. I was hoping we could add the materials to that 200 that we borrowed, since we do not have that kind of money at Garden Park in capital money.
So, Mike, I understand we're at 140. And we
Yes.
borrowed 200, so we have,
Correct. And I don't plan on spending the whole 200,000. I just would like to add something more to the playground. The other stuff, as you spoke with the grant, the splash pad and all the other material is gonna be put towards that grant. This is kind of an afterthought, so to speak.
I don't have a concern with one. It's the floodplain, the federal permit, and review boards. Can we add this to the review board hearing?
So, yeah, I don't think it's an issue with the developmental review board. I probably just need to get some information. I haven't scheduled it yet, we're waiting for the comments from the floodplain area. Structures are in the floodplain a much more significant thing than the soil remediation or the playground equipment. So there may be additional comments. Now, whether or not that will add costs to what we're proposing, I do not know the answer to that. From a permitting standpoint, I suspect it won't be a problem. My question is going to be, is what is she going to require us to do to make sure, as she put it, they don't end up in somebody's living room?
So what would happen if we allow the money and it gives the guys something, not one more building to build? Is that,
Excuse me?
how many more buildings?
It depends on how far I can stretch the money.
So my thought is I'm against, it's the cart before the horse, but I understand giving the guys something to do. So my thought is, let's say it's not allowed at the park, could this go at Prouty Beach, could go somewhere else, or no?
I mean, I think it can go up Prouty Beach is what my opinion is. However, I don't make that decision, so that's just an opinion. It'd be far simpler. You're not dealing with a floodplain
Right.
or soil remediation issues at Prouty Beach. So it would be far simpler. In actuality, I would not have to go to the DRB with this. I could approve that myself at that site.
So they won't be built for nothing and
reason.
they're stuck in the city garage. I'm good.
Yeah, my question was if we can't put them in the park, we can just move them to Prouty or some other area in Newport and still.
I think we aren't talking about putting them in the park. I think
Right,
we're
so-
just turning around
Definitely.
saying, if something bizarre happens,
Yeah. That's,
can we at least continue this and then do it and then deal with the process for the park that we have to do?
They're small enough structures. The ticket booth, if you drive into the beach, that ticket booth, we built in the garage 2 winters ago, and we moved it over there with a loader. That's a quite large structure. So moving the structures isn't a problem.
So if I'm hearing everyone correctly, can I have a motion to approve the playground, playhouse structures, pending accommodations that need to be made to stay in compliance with the state?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
A second.
Yes.
Question,
Sure.
so does this allow me to continue?
Yes.
Just wanted to.
Yes, all we're saying is don't if they come out, let's see what we have to do for the comments, et cetera, but you continue the work because there will be, whatever we need to do, we'll do, so you
I
don't
just
have to
hate to
stop.
miss the winter months if things are slow.
Yeah.
Because once summer comes,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have time.
So this is what you've asked for,
Yep.
but because we still have, because the person wasn't here
Mhm.
to get us this answer in time, we need to at least hear what they have to say, and I'm sure there won't be any issues, as our zoning administrator said, with compliance. We just need to know what it is. So I have a motion and I have a second. Any comments?
Yes,
Yes.
this is Pamela's Newport. This feels really weird to me standing here in the cheap seats. Here you are, all talking in code, so much for transparency. And it sounds as though you're sort of playing a game about what will appease us, the peasants.
Me, talk to me, talk to me.
Us, the peasants. It's not okay. It feels really strange.
So, okay, so thank you for your comment. I just want to make it clear that it is, the surprise part of it is not anything nefarious. The surprise part of it is the design that is really exciting for the people. So let's just say it's a box, whatever it might be, or it's like, the biggest car in the world, whatever it is. Okay, so that's not the part you're concerned about.
No. And can I
Yeah, that's what I want to know, because I just want to be clear.
This is money that you're talking about, and we've spent the last umpteen meetings being concerned about money and how money is being spent, and now suddenly it's magically available to do something that may be wonderful, I don't know, because that's part of the code, but we don't know that. And you're about to sign off on that without any more information. That really does feel strange.
Thank you for your comment.
I can add something, food
Sure.
for thought. First of all, I really actually, I look at these things, I really like them. I think it would be really nice for the kids. I meet with Carter and Mike on Wednesday to go over the detailed budget for this. That hasn't been done in some time, at least with the grant person. There may be money available outside of this $200,000. That's my initial reaction, is that, and again, that's, a lot of that would be up to Mike and what he would like to use it for. But in an initial quick review without Carter and Mike there, I think there may be some money available within that portion of the budget as well that might be able to assist here. If
Right.
that.
Further
We do
discussion?
have one online. Mr. Grimm says
I
you're
was just gonna say,
I'm sorry, you go first, Cameron, and then I'll go to.
we're looking at 20,000.
That's what I,
Okay. Yeah.
and again, I'm not trying to hide anything.
Nobody's
other
hiding
than-
anything.
Other than, again, we've all been beat up for 5-6 years now since the park's been kind of torn apart. And when we build the original playground structure, I just wanted it, we can bring these right in as we're building that, and once we open it, it'll be kind of the wow effect. That way, it's not out there to the public of what we're building, but we're building some extra structures. I thought it'd be exciting. I'm not trying to hide anything. I think people will be surprised.
Ms. Grimm? Ms. Grimm, right?
Hi, Lori Grimm, resident, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Resident Newport. I'm really excited that, Tom's got some forethought to put some exciting things in for the city, but I'm just gonna ditto what Ms. Ladd said. The city's been taking a lot of hit about not having money and those kind of things, and the permitting process and all of that kind of stuff with the playground. And I think it's great if we can move forward with it, but I think we got to be a little bit more careful about the way things are handled at this point.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
comment. Anyone else up there? Or are we good?
Oh, there's only one online.
Okay.
I'll just add that. Oh, somebody's online. No, maybe it was me. I do want to say I think this could potentially.
Oh, wait a second. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
I don't know
Carter? Okay.
Yeah, have you been saying the audio quality is pretty poor, and I don't know if you guys are looking at me to speak for this. I'm just listening, and but I don't know if that is what's being said.
So if you'd like to say something, you're more than welcome to. You're recognized. It's your
No,
choice. Other than Happy New Year?
no, I'll just not do. Yeah, no. Yeah, just
Okay.
listening.
Thank you. Okay. So,
I think potentially this could really tip us over like one of the best playgrounds in our entire region, so I'm really excited about this and hoping everything falls in line, so thank you for taking initiative with this.
No comment.
I'm fine.
okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Thank you.
Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Powers Guaranteed Services contract with a potential vote. You have that in your packet. And I'm gonna recognize Mr. Bernier again. This, I believe, was the yearly generator and maintenance.
Correct. So we've been under a contract with Powers since 2011. They have been a great company to deal with. They do phenomenal work. I'm not looking to go elsewhere. So as what we normally have is the annual PM for $6,625, covers all our generators. This building has a generator, all the pump stations, the water, wastewater, fire station. I am adding, a couple years ago, I am adding the load bank, which adds another $6,305 to that. And the reason for that is the generators all come on certain days, certain time, and they'll run for half hour, an hour. But they just sit there and idle. Load bank, he actually puts them under a load. Otherwise, they might sit there and they're not ready for that massive amount of, ramping up as far as the engine goes to be ready to actually supply the arsenic plant and the wells. Or actually the one on Coventry Street also runs the sewer pump station, so that's a quite large one. So that's what that is. He comes in and they do a load bank, they actually run them under a load. We started doing that a couple of years ago. So the total is $12,930 for another yearly contract.
Questions?
Is this in the budget?
Yes.
I'm all set.
It's subdivided too, so it's, like this building has it, fire station has it, pump station has it, so it's spread out. Most of them are under sewer and water.
So may I have a motion for the mayor to sign the planned maintenance agreement with Powers? I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any comment? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Thank you. I'm going to give this to the treasurer. Will you get it from him tomorrow so that you can reveal it? Thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the Newport Sias Avenue Waterline, the 2025 priority list application, potential vote. Mr. Bernier.
So this one I'm named on, the engineers, any potential projects. So Sias Ave water main project has been completely designed. I think initially we were hoping that the $997,000 grant that we got was gonna go towards the water project, but Financially, it wasn't viable, so we put it all to the water tower. So this keeps us on the state's revolving loan fund as a viable project. And that's all this is. And it has me named on it, so I had it on the agenda to make sure that everybody was okay that I sign it and submit it back to A&E, and they'll submit it to the state.
So can I please have a motion to authorize Mr. Bernier to sign the 2025 priority list application?
So,
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Comment? Further discussion?
Just a question, Tom, because I'm new to this too. So basically what's happening here with our motion is that it keeps this alive so that if funding might become available, we would be, it would be possible for us to go after that funding and then make the project happen.
Absolutely.
And then that
And we're
would
not
come
committing
in.
ourselves to the project at this
No,
point.
not at all.
I understand.
The project is 100% complete, and as everybody knows, when another pot of money comes out, if you're not shovel ready for projects, you're gonna miss out on it.
Got it. Right, so
Sometimes
when you say it's complete, what you mean is all the plans are done?
engineering is 100%.
Okay, thank you.
It's ready to go out to bid,
Okay,
if we find funding.
got it.
So I have a
Keep
motion
funding.
and a second. Do you have any further comment? Did I cut you off? I didn't. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, the motion is carried. Will you sign that and make sure that
Yep.
Jim gets it? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the Midway contract, a potential vote. And you should have that contract in your packet. It's a one-page contract. And I'd like to recognize the Recreation Director, Mike Brown. Please.
Hello,
Hi there.
I'm back. So this is for the carnival. The date has been moved up a week to the week after Memorial Day. The contract is the same as last year. If you remember when they were here last year, it was a rainy weekend, and the city made a decent amount of money off of this carnival. There was very minimal effort. The carnival staff and the company are very easy and good to work with, and we had no issues. So I recommend we do it again.
Okay. I'm gonna throw a motion out there, ask for a motion, and then we'll go into comment and discussion. May I have a motion, please, for the mayor to sign the Midway contract for the city of Newport for May 29 to June 1, 2025 with Miller Amusement Company?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Comment? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. I have signed this, Mr. Brown, and you can get this from the treasurer tomorrow, and you can send it over to the amusement company for their signature and get it back to us. Would that work?
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
That'll be perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. I love that you take care of that. The next item on the agenda is the appraisal contract update. We have it for potential vote, but we're just gonna get a quick update, and I'm going to ask, based upon what we're waiting on, that we table this for the next agenda, but I would just like to recognize Mr. Cheney for a few seconds. Thank you.
So the contract negotiations went very well. We had got the fundamentals all hammered out, back and forth. We got everything we wanted. Very happy with these people. We went so far as to negotiate the actual software price and contract going forward after that, at least for a period of time. As far as we have the lawyers that have some technical language that they need to work out between themselves in reading this. Some of the changes, they don't look like they're very significant in my mind. However, their lawyer wants a little bit more time to look it over before we sign it. We have a gentleman's agreement, that's the way I would put it. We're on the list. I don't think we're gonna lose the contract or anything like that, so basically we'll just wait until we're back here the next time.
Yeah, that's pretty much just the holiday too, so.
Great.
So are we all good with just putting this on the next agenda?
Okay, thank you.
Motion to table?
Yeah, yeah,
Is that it? You have a question?
no, just don't go. Can I have a motion, please, to move the appraisal contract update with a potential vote to the next council meeting?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, comments? Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the infamous Horizons contract. So this contract has been floating around on the agenda for several months, and we were always waiting for the lawyers on both sides to finally finish it with all of the discussions that Mr. Bernier and I had had with our side as well. Everything was agreed to, and we had already gone through this contract with some of these changes a while back. So here it is, all signed and ready to go. With just, so what I'm asking now, and this is, I'm gonna recognize Mr. Bernier just so that if you wanna say anything about it, but this is for the grants, right, the five of them, right? This covers the 5 grants. Right, so I'd ask for a motion to allow the mayor to finally sign the Horizons contract.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Comment? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Okay, here you go. This is the original executed, Jim, from both parties. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is the evaluation of a city employee's executive session, 1 VSA, section 313A3. May I please have a motion to enter executive session pursuant to 1 VSA, section 313A3 for the purpose of evaluating city employees and invite the city recreation director into the executive session.
So moved.
The motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried, and we are in executive session. We are out of executive session. No action has been taken.
I was gonna
Look,
say-
my big line, and I blew it.
I was gonna say the 2 words.
Can you repeat it again for Jim?
Yeah, right? We are out of executive session with no action taken. Okay, the next item on the agenda is attorney-client communications regarding personnel matters. Executive session 1 VSA, section 313A1F with a potential vote. May I have a motion, please, to find that premature public general knowledge of the confidential attorney-client communications made for providing legal services to the city council regarding personnel matters would place the city at a substantial disadvantage because disclosure of the otherwise confidential advice and communication would harm the city by waiving the city's attorney-client privilege. 1 VSA, section 313A1F.
So moved.
And a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. May I have a motion to enter executive session to discuss confidential attorney-client communications with the city attorney for the purpose of providing professional legal services and invite the city attorney into the executive session pursuant to 1 VSA section 313A1F and if needed to invite the recreational director in.
So moved.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We are in executive session. We are out of executive session. No action was taken.
Madam Mayor, I have a motion. I'd like to move that we approve the status change adjustments for 4 employees as recommended by the director of the rec department.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Comments?
Question,
Comments?
comment? Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer Hopkins. Could you explain what that really means?
Thank you for your comment. Any further comments? Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda, interviews for staff accountant, executive session, 1 VSA, section 313A3. May I please have a motion to enter executive session pursuant to 1 VSA, section 313A3 for the purpose of evaluating a candidate for the position of staff accountant and invite the candidate into the executive session.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried, and we are in executive session.
Better than after an hour in executive session.
Okay.
Okay, so I have to do a amendment, right? Yeah. So may I please have an amendment to the title of going into executive session? We were going in for interviews for staff accountant executive session, 1 VSA section 313A3. It is for amended to say interviews for financial and office administrator executive session, 1 VSA section 313A3. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to amend.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. We are in executive session.
You have to run.
We are out of executive session. No action taken. The next item on the agenda, interviews for the firefighter administrative position, executive session 1 VSA, section 313A3. May I have a motion, please, to enter executive session pursuant to 1 VSA, section 313A3 for the purpose of evaluating candidates for the position of administrative firefighter, and to invite the fire department representatives along with the individual candidates separately into the executive session for their respective interviews.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and we are in executive session.
Motion to adjourn.
We are out of executive session. No action was taken.
Madam Mayor, I move to authorize the mayor to negotiate with a candidate for the firefighter administrative position.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Comments? Further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the initial budget and other financial information and discussion. I just want to tell the council that we've begun for several weeks now the budget discussions, and today we had an more definite budget department head meeting, and pretty much everybody's annual reports are pretty much in, and we're working on getting that taken care of, and we'll be doing a special meeting just for the budget process. So we're on track with that, and we should, Stacy from the Treasurer's Department has been greatly helping us. And everybody, the department heads working together, they all understand each other's budgets now, they understand the process, and we're just finalizing some calculations that need to go in, and we should be ready to go to get that out.
When are you thinking, I hate to say it, special meeting?
Oh, that special meeting. Oh, so.
This week, next week?
Definitely not this week. Okay. It won't be this week, because we still have, what we discussed today still has to be incorporated, and everybody has now access, the fire department and all of the department heads have access to the budget, and they're all going in there and they understand that it was important that they all saw one another's budgets and understood that. And then we'll just need the real time done, so we can add that percentages across where those needs to go on the real time of the department heads and administrative numbers. And then we've got in place the printers, so we'll just have to finalize that, but they've given us their word that they will do that. So we should be good on that. Just a couple of other little updates, and then of course you can talk. There was some solicitations made of local businesses and banks for monies, grant matches that did not, wasn't approved by the council, but that was all stopped and no monies were actually given. So there was no harm done. We've got hold of everybody there to make sure that no monies went anywhere. Okay, so that's over. The single audit that was supposed to have been done, I took care of that, and we finalized that portion, the single audit portion. I've got the notice back today from the auditors that they are fine with what was provided to them on that, okay? So that part is done.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
So, because I've never been through an audit like this, what's the next step in the process?
So two different things. So one is the single audit, which is a carve out
Right.
which is just on the ARPA
Around
award.
ARPA in particular.
So they seem to be fine with that. That's what they said today.
Do they bring a final report back to us at some point?
Well, we're going to get the reports, yeah. So right now, we're still in the regular financial audit. We're coming to the end. I think there are just a couple of questions I had, and then they will do subsequent testing. And then they'll, after that, there'll be a going concern checklist, and that should be it.
Okay.
So we're on track there. And the treasurer and I have been working on the questions that overlap in the departments, and so the treasurer is really helpful with the delinquent taxes, and that they just gave us a couple of questions back, and we'll answer those. That'll be done, and so everything is moving. But so what'll happen is you'll get your financial report. Usually your single audit, and this is up to the auditors, we have a separate contract with them for the single audit, so usually they will write a separate auditor's report on the single audit, but they do have the ability, if they so choose, that they could run it by us to say they want to include that in the regular financial audit, but usually we don't. But if they ask, we'll waive the reasons why. But we should be pretty much okay with that. Still, public records requests coming in, we're still dealing with those in time and costs, but other than that, I think we're pretty good. But do you have some just kind of questions or anything you want to chat about on the financials or discussion on budgets or anything?
So yeah, just again, do you have a general idea when the special meeting is? Just because I'm probably gonna be coming in printing things and make sure those packets go out.
Right, so I'm thinking that it's probably gonna be next week, right?
Well, the sooner the better.
Well, my thought is, maybe we could do it Monday. Maybe we could, is Monday a holiday? No, we can't do that.
This Monday's not a holiday.
So maybe,
20th is
so maybe we can aim for Monday as a tentative date? Would that work for you?
as long as I can get in and push things out, yeah.
Yeah, so, but, you know, let's just aim for that Monday, no later than Wednesday. Which is the day you can't do it? When's
For this, I'll make the time.
Okay. And you'll give up date night.
When's the final date for things to be pushed out to the printers?
So, you know, it's an artificial deadline, but we want to get it done by the end of January so that we can hit that first February week.
Yeah, petitions are due in on the 27th.
Right.
So as soon as they get those, it needs to go to the printer somewhere on the first week in February.
Right.
That's our goal.
Right.
So if we have this in-depth conversation next week,
Mm-hmm.
that'll still give us another 2 weeks before the 27th, which
Yes.
is our next regular schedule to then finalize, push things out.
And Jim and I will get hold of the printers and we'll figure out what they need. And they've told me, from my conversation with them, they said they will do most of the layout work. Yeah. So they,
That's what I was worried.
well, that's what we talked about today. And so they were pretty much okay with that. In fact, so if we even sent them kind of the draft of what we're working on, just so they could see it, you know, the budget schedules, they would understand it. And
Of course, she's got copies. She's printed them for years. So
right.
She's got copies.
And that's what the person that we hired prior said, that she was going to send them whatever they needed as well. So we should be in good shape there. We just need to touch base with them this week.
You just need everything and be able to scan it, email it to her, so she
Correct.
doesn't have to
Right.
type everything out.
Right. And then, so I think we have all of the department heads, most of the not-for-profits reports, or we're still waiting on some of those?
I've got all the appropriation stuff.
Mhm.
I've got a folder with that in.
Okay,
So that deadline is come and gone on that, so if they haven't got them in by now, they're not.
right, they're not in, okay. So we should be pretty good with that.
That's all I have.
Good? You good with
I
that?
have a couple of questions on the timing, just so you know. I can be available Monday night, but I'm gone Thursday morning through Sunday night, so I won't be here to help you generate the packets this week.
If I need to come home over the weekend, I can do what I need to.
Okay.
And then I have some other questions about just budget preparation.
Mm-hmm, and I have to meet with you anyway on some of that stuff too.
Okay.
But I think the main thing right now is to get us here with Stacy and everybody in the department head, so they could start to walk us through everything that we've got, and we can see it going and have a full discussion, and that'll be the only thing that should be on the agenda unless there's an emergency of some sort.
You know, the council needs to see the budget, what they put together,
Right.
so they can say, okay, this is what.
Right.
So just logistically, if I could have the agenda so I could post that, so we're in compliance with
I
that.
will definitely
I can
get
then
you.
come in the next day to do all the other stuff.
Sure.
I can't, can I mute them?
So if you click on them, then the no walkout. And then
Gosh, I need to take that out.
Yeah,
of
I
my
know,
home
totally.
I got a 29-year-old that would work really well for me.
Right. So anyway,
So Monday night, we're looking at.
tentatively, yeah, I will definitely get to and confirm that. I'll make some calls tomorrow and make sure that everybody's on board with that. Is that good?
Schedule it.
Okay. Okay. So, next. Next, we have comments by members of the public. I do want everybody to understand that when that gavel drops, you don't get to come up here and sign on for public comments, you sign up before the gavel drops. Okay, we are now on comments by members of the public. Members of the audience are reminded that members of the press are present and that these proceedings are being recorded for current and future broadcast over the city's cable television channel. Members of the audience are further reminded that Newport City Council meetings are for the purpose of allowing council members to conduct city business. City council members are the only time the city council discusses, deliberates, and decides upon city matters. City council meetings are held in public to promote transparency and accountability in government, but are distinct from public hearings or town meetings in that they are not meetings of the public. Members of the public should be afforded a reasonable opportunity to express opinions about matters considered by the city council, to conduct orderly and efficient meetings. I kindly request the public's cooperation and compliance with the published guidelines when participating in the meeting, and I thank you for that. So when your name is called, please speak into the microphone, address your comments through the mayor, state your name and residence and affiliation, and please only speak when recognized. You will have your 2 minutes, and you will be told when your 30 seconds coming at the end of your 2 minutes is up. Will somebody please do that timing?
Throw my pen at clerk.
Okay, Mr. Love.
As I stagger up, I'm not drunk, I'm just tired and old. You are getting to the budget, and usually at special meetings there are no attachments, but this budget, that discussion that will occur probably a Monday from now, it would be great to have the draft attached so we could look at it in advance. And in the past, or in, I don't know, the last 3 or 4 years, while we usually don't get to comment on most issues until the vote is ready to be taken, that is really rather difficult in the budget area when you discuss particular budgets as they go, because by the time we wait until there's going to be a vote, nobody's going to want to change anything because we have some comment or a question. So I just ask you to think about where the public might have a chance to input during the process, and not at the very end when you're up against the clock. You don't want to change anything, and it's a done deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lai.
What she said. Nothing else. Nothing to add.
Okay, Ms. Hopkins, I'm going to let you.
Oh, okay. Put my stuff away. I thought it was going to be. Jennifer Hopkins, resident of the city. I'm just here to ask on some unfinished business, and I will just ask you again how we're coming on personnel policies. You did answer the question apropos of reviewing the budget. And potentially, I would imagine we will see the audit at some point will be published when it is available. But it just seems like there's a lot of sort of things that have not been addressed yet. And I was just wondering the status. So I don't expect an answer.
Okay, next item on the agenda, new business. President Sean? Councilmember Curtis? I'm doing this out of order, I apologize.
Me?
Curtis, I just looked at you.
So who's talking
I
next?
said his name, I want to put a test to see if you know who you are.
I defer to Councilmember Curtis.
Councilmember Rocker Chase?
Okay, I have nothing to add.
Councilmember Gardner. Okay. Let's see, new business, new business, new business, new business. Good. Okay, old business. Oh, I'm sorry, Treasurer Johnson.
No,
Thank you. Gotta keep me alert here.
I knew you'd get around to it.
Old business. Okay, President Chan.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Charbonneau.
No, thank you.
Councilmember Curtis.
No thanks.
Councilmember?
No, thank you.
So, treasurer?
None.
So I do want everybody to understand that the liaison assignments changed beginning January 1 to March 1st. The mayor is now going to be the liaison to the fire department. Watch, they're going to stop cooking now, right now that I'm okay. Right. Councilmember Chase will be for the police department. President Rashawn for DPW. Councilmember Charbonneau for the rec department. Councilmember Curtis for zoning. Okay. Next item on the agenda is to set the next meeting. The regularly scheduled council meeting is January 20, 2025. Is that correct?
27.
Yeah, I thought that was wrong. 27, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. January 27, 2025. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, the motion is carried. Next item on the agenda, adjournment. May I have a motion to
I'll
adjourn?
make that motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Motion in a second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Ayes have it, the motion is carried. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming out in the cold, and a Happy New Year.